Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the Almost Perfect Cast.
Hello.
So, gosh, where to start? Welcome to the Almost Perfect Cast. I'm Zephyr.
I'm Eesa.
I'm Drew. Wordist.
And I guess this is season 2 officially. You talked me into it, Word. The Almost Perfect Cast, we're a fan podcast for StepManiaX. We stream on Twitch now. In fact, this is going to be our primary platform where you can watch us live. But gosh, that's not the format of the show. And, you know, that's the main topic today is the format of the show. So let's not go out of order and let's go in order. So first, we've got some housekeeping. We're ditching the affiliation thing. We don't have to talk about the fact that we're not officially affiliated with StepManiaX. People can figure that out. It's in all our disclaimers on the show notes and everything. Like, it's simple enough. It's a silly thing to talk about. What else is going on? There's we did a GDQ. We'll talk about that more at length later. And we did a giant tournament. There are a bunch of tournaments going on. And one of them is giant. 2 of them are giant. 3 of them are giant. A lot of big tournaments are going on.
So let's start with the one that just finished up a little bit ago called the Salad Bowl 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So that one was put on by Water Salads, and they had 7 people playing. It was an invitational for Wild, and they did a round robin style, and then based on how many wins, they decided the first, second, third place, and etc. They basically had, of the 7 people that were involved, they had like basically all of them are in like the top 10 or so of Wild on the leaderboard. So it was insane matchups, insane tournament. It was so fun to watch.
It was effectively a non-prior announced Wild Invitational tournament.
Yeah. It was really cool.
I got to catch a little of it, even though I was on vacation, and it was amazing. I definitely recommend catching any of the matches that people can.
Yeah, so I think Dante placed first. Paranoia Boy Tony, I think, placed second. I believe it was Water Salads that placed third. And then there was McLauchick there. There was Andy457. There was Skeeter. Who's the last
Jelly
one?
Slosh.
Jelly Slosh. That's all 7 of them. They all won against each other, like at least one song. I think everybody won at least one song against everyone else. There was quite a few APCs. There was a lot of ties. It was really hyped to watch.
They had something going on with how we win. Some meme.
Yeah, the format was when you played your match. So for every single match, they played how we win to see, basically to seed the match. And then if it was tied, they would up it to 1.1 speed and play again and keep doing that until somebody won. And then, it was like a 9 or something card draw, and they ended up playing best of 7 for all the matches. It was really cool.
Okay, and then there's another tournament coming. What is it? This coming weekend for us, as we're recording this.
Are you talking about Storm?
End of June.
End of June. Okay, end of June. Okay. You know what? I have the internet at my fingertips. We can look at the event page, can't we?
We sure can. Friday. It's this coming Friday.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, Friday, June 25th. So
it's in Daytona, Florida.
Or sorry, June 23rd. Sorry. 25th is when the event ends on Sunday. Okay. Yeah, so there we go. It's happening. I should do those qualifiers just for funsies. That would be some fun. I've barely been able to play anything outside of GDQ. I was so late on the song drop. Sorry, getting ahead of ourselves. Let's see. It looks like there's 15 people on the StepManiaX Discord are already signed up for it. I'm going to guess they're going to fill at least 16 or 24 people on that, right? that's going to be a pretty decent sized tournament. It's already a bigger tournament that other people are going to, right? So they've got pretty good signups just off of the spillover from other games.
Yeah, they're having GDR there, and I don't know what else. Probably Pump.
Yeah, spillover from DDR. That's gonna come up later.
So the other one coming up, well, not coming up, but the other one will be Bite, Beast in the East.
That's in August. What's the date on that? I can look that up because I need to get plane tickets. I think I'm going.
I don't think I will be.
Yeah, can't travel to too many things. You've already gone to one StepManiaX event and you're going to another later this year.
So the defending champion is Water Salads, but he will not be there. So it'll be a new champion.
Yeah, Bite is August 25th through 27th. I'll have to look up the details about the exact day the tournament for StepManiaX is. Because yeah, I know another local here is going, so it'd be fun to see if we can double up on at least the travel plans. And gosh, that's likely Water Salads is running it. It was the biggest by was it the biggest tournament by participant count last year? By raw number of entrants for one division, it was the biggest. So they're probably going to be the biggest East Coast tournament this year. They could shape up to be the biggest by that metric again this year. So definitely worth going to. At least for me, that's why I'm going.
And then Red October. That's in October.
Hey, we should talk about qualifiers for Bite. Hey, this is a news organization here. We should tell people when they have to do their qualifiers by real quick. Okay, Bite qualifiers. They are due. I'm looking this up. I do not see a due date. I think they're rolling them way late. Yeah, I'll have to ask. Water Salads is gonna hang me for this sometime. I don't know.
Jelly Slosh is running Bite, not Water Salads.
Oh yeah, sorry, Jelly, not water. I know who's running what tournament. I can't edit this now.
The qualifiers are the Judgment Day, Who, and Dr. M.
I'm canceling the format change. I mix up a name and I can't correct myself in post.
That's right.
Yeah. And then Red October, I should know this because I posted the rules document. When is our, because our Red October is October 6th through 8th. We're going to try to make it the biggest StepManiaX tournament ever. We'll see if we pull it off. And the big takeaway, well, gosh, the format, the rules document is out. Look at the thread in the StepManiaX Discord. The deadline for qualifiers, they don't even get rolled for another month. But the thing to note is if you sign up before July 28th, when you sign up, you can submit for whichever divisions you submit for, which you can sign up for all three of them. You just can only enter one by the time the tournaments come by. You can submit potential qualifiers. Everyone's potential qualifiers goes into one big giant hat, and the qualifiers will get drawn from that hat. So the more popular charts are more likely to become the qualifier songs. And those qualifiers will be up until a couple weeks before the event. Did I say everything?
That's it.
Okay.
So then
does it say what the waiting is going to be like for it? Or are you guys going to wait the hard ones more on the Red October?
I decided not to for simplicity's sake. It was an option, but these charts are only a couple difficulties away from each other. And
sounds great because I'm bad at hard songs.
And people that are going to APC, it's not going to matter much because people are going to get so close to an APC on those lower songs that it's not really going to make a huge difference. So it wasn't worth doing the math for me. I do think there is a merit to that, to using that technique, but I also think there's a merit to saying, well, when you play these songs in the tournament, you're not getting more of a win on the 24 that you beat your opponent on versus the 21 you beat your opponent on. So,
And the full invitational will be only 21 and up. There's like so many full charts, so they'll only have lower difficulties. There's not that many that are 21 and up.
Yeah, it's not going to be as giant as a pool. A lot of plus charts are getting added, but that's always one of the constraints on a tournament. Next year,
Gotta
we're
tell
going
them
to
to
have
add more plus before the tournament.
Yeah, there might be more plus. Next year, we're going to be able to implement edits, and there will be any number of harder charts we want, and we can do all sorts of fun things like increasing the difficulty and dropping the floor harder and harder without having to worry about the top of this tournament is the same 15 charts over and over, like you have to worry about when you do that last Red October.
Yeah. So with saying the same charts over and over, so in the salad bowl they weighted from 21 through 26. The way they weighted it, the 26s had like a 5% chance of drawing, but there's only a couple 26s, so they kept like every time a 26 would come up, it would be like the same chart like over and over. So they played the beginning like a million times, and it was pretty funny.
And we do have weights on oh, there are weights on Red October. It's in the rules doc, and you will get some of those harder charts a little more over and over, and you will get sick of some of them. But that's all them charts that are in the game. And I will, as a tournament organizer, reserve the right to tweak those just a tiny bit if more 25s and 26s get dropped in the game, so that it's a little more representative and proportional. But I'm not gonna fiddle with that a lot on a tournament that's got a $1,000 plus grand prize at the top of each division.
Right.
Okay, song drop. Yeah. Hey, here's a new rule for the song drop. We don't talk about the song drop for 30 minutes. You get to pick 3 charts that you want to talk about. You can passionately go on about them. Now, there's no rule about talking about the songs themselves. We can talk about how bad a song Love Arcade is till we're blue in the face. But actual charts, we only talk about 3. Wait, you like Love Arcade, Eesa?
Love Arcade's amazing. Also, did you guys watch the music video for Love Arcade?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kevin did an amazing job. He must have gone insane. It must have just driven him utterly. Well, he posted the MP3 of the song with substitute lyrics that weren't as awful for when you made that video. Because I'm sorry, Eesa, you must be the one. You submitted this game, didn't you, Eesa? It was you. You did it.
Bop.
You've been found out. I think this is the worst song that has ever hit the game. I am not quiet about it. I think a stinker gets in every now and then, maybe once a year, and this is 2023's big giant stinker. I hate this song. I will make fun of this song. I will viciously mock the voice.
Senpai. Senpai agrees with me that it's amazing. No, the Dullard song was that one with like the yellow label and like a computer screen.
Oh, you didn't like Just Dance? I love Just Dance.
From a couple drops ago. It's just too boring.
Okay, so the other song I didn't like as much. No, I didn't dislike it. I just have to note the dichotomy of how much effort Dr. Bombay is putting into his Carlito impression versus the backup singer who's doing all of the actual weight carrying on seeing that on Poca Loco. Like, Dr. Bombay is over there going, Poca Loco Loco, going Poca Loco Loco. And she's just like belting out an aria over next to him. And you wonder, like, do these two see each other in the recording booth at some point and have to make eye contact? And Dr. Bombay was making like 4 times as much money for that same recording session. I have to know.
Dr. Bombay is his greatest alter ego for sure. Carlito was like the only good Carlito song, but then Poca Loco's good. I like it.
I liked Poca Loco. Okay, it's so funny listening to it and just remarking on it. Oh, I can't stand Love Arcade though. So I'm glad somebody likes it. And yes, that background is amazing. The guitar that you're surfing on the back of, and the machine, everything about it. Other than honestly, I don't even hate the music that bad. I like the retro synth. The female.
No, I mean like the actual music video for it on YouTube. It's pretty awesome.
Oh no, I haven't. I guess I should.
Yeah, she's styling. She's playing all the games. It's amazing.
Okay, actual charts. Eesa, we kind of caught you flat-footed because you didn't realize we hadn't recorded a song drop yet.
Yeah, I was on vacation and I thought they already did a whole podcast. So I
We were a little
busy.
busy.
The podcast you're a part of is you didn't know we didn't do an episode without you.
You know what? I played some full mode today though, and I did play some of the new songs again. So I will say, Rad is definitely my favorite chart on Wild. It's just so super fun with the amount of intense tech, brackets, foot switches. I guess maybe some parts you could do crossover too, or you can just do another weird foot switch in a weird way. But yeah, it's so fun. But I was playing full today, so I played the full chart. The full chart is still fun. I like how it still has like a good amount of brackets in full, which is good. There's still not that many full charts with brackets, right? And
it's so rolling. I love it.
The first little run at the start of full is like so hard because it's so fast. I was like, where did this come from? But then the rest of it's like pretty easy and only like 2 foot switches or something, not like a million like the Wild. So I think I like Wild better, but they're both fun. And then I was playing the Chime one on full too. What's it called again?
The Other Side.
The Other Side, right. Oh, it's pretty hard.
That one's quite a thing.
I still don't have it down on the stops. But yeah, I think I like it better on Wild than on full once again. So both of those I like them better on Wild. But it's still pretty fun on full.
Okay. I have 3, and I only Eesa ate one of mine because I also really liked Rad Wild. So I'm glad I had a backup.
Well, you can say what you thought about it too, still.
Yeah. Oh, I did. I mean, I also exact same thoughts on Rad Wild 24. So no, I'm gonna talk about Rad Hard 19, which was the baby version of that was so good. It walked you into all those patterns super well. It made you feel like if you had to play that, if you were stuck on a 19 and you couldn't play the 24, you definitely could play next to that person and feel like you're getting the same kind of experience that player is. It's got the foot switches built in. It's got a lot of the rhythms built in. It's got fun spins in it that I had a lot of fun with. I had a blast with the Hard 19. Speaking of spins, Siren's Hard 17 has a lot of those spins. It has a lot of those. I'm trying to remember which one's that one. I think it was. I think they were they butterfly spins or were they different spins? I know it had a lot of spins into like what I call snakes, where it's like a kind of motions, but I can't remember exactly how the spins in it went. I got a 99 on it because I like doing it so much. The 90 with spins. Can you tell I like flaring my skirt up? And
yeah,
for the
when you
same
do all
reason,
the like crossovers and stuff, the skirt just kind of like goes out.
Yeah, it just goes out. There's a reason my camera angle is as high as it is. Because the third song was Siren's Duel 18, and that had some like you had to go like it was like it was fast. You have to move on that thing. You have to go in tight. It is nuts. I still full comboed it doing all those spins, but it's not simple. Yeah, that's it. I like sirens. I like spins. I like Rad. Poco Loco's a funny song, but those 2 songs are where this drop was at for me. Word.
So I didn't play like everything a whole bunch. So I don't know. My favorite ones were definitely Rad, both the Wild and the full. And then the Other Side, I don't know. People like are memeing on it that it's just like weird, but I really like it. I think it's just really cool that it's different. There's like a lot of weird rhythms. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I love the rhythms on Wild, especially. Yeah.
Yeah, the rhythms
well, actually,
are just.
It has the same rhythms on full. Yeah.
Yeah, just the rhythms. They're like so skittly. It's definitely remind me of like an ITL style chart kind of.
Definitely.
But yeah, the stops, they're definitely a little harder than a lot of the other songs. It's not quite like stop and go. Those are pretty straightforward once you learn them. The Other Side, the stops are a little more out there. They're not like they don't just go straight with the beat. You kind of have to anticipate what they are once you learn them a little. But yeah, those are my favorites. I really liked, I don't know, the Love Arcade. It's like I don't like the song that much.
But the
I'll
wild
just say
chart is
that.
really good. The wild chart is really
Yeah,
unreasonably good.
I liked all the wild and the full charts pretty well. I don't have too much to say about the charts. I didn't fill out my whole page of notes, so it is what it is.
It's really liberating, isn't it? The podcast suddenly got easier to make, didn't it?
Yeah, you could say that.
All right, well, what a wonderful segue into the main topic. Hey, this podcast is changing. No, it's not changing to increase production value. This is decreased production value. This is me saying I give up. I am throwing in the towel. I am no longer doing 5 to 10 hours of work outside of actually making and producing the podcast every month, because that's what I was doing. It took about 2 to 4 hours of like lining up the podcast and making notes and getting the guest and like, whatever that might end up being in a month. And then it ends up being 5 or 10 hours after the 1 or 2 hours fun of recording, then goes to 5 or 10 hours of editing, depending on how many people are involved and how much work it is. And this is just so much easier. We all drop ourselves into Twitch. If we screw up, well, we can't edit it out. Oops, I said water salads instead of jelly slosh. You know what? You two, sometimes you interchange in my mind because I'm an idiot and I forget, even though one of you is from like Texas and one of you is from water salads. I don't actually know where you're from. Are you from Virginia, or do you just go there to go to tournaments? Anyway.
I think he's from there.
Okay.
Or like right around there. Because he said
somewhere in that neighborhood.
What was it?
Regardless,
or something. He's really close to it.
The goal of this is to make the podcast easier for me, a little bit easier for guests and co-hosts, but really way more accessible for the community, because most people who engage with StepManiaX on a media sense do it on Twitch. Going to an external platform from Twitch seems kind of like an extra step for a lot of people. We will be uploading this to YouTube. I am going to throw some of this on for the first couple months onto Castos, which means it's going to go out to Spotify. So there is going to be a transition period where you're going to get the warning every month, like, oh, hey, warning. This is leaving some platforms. I'm not going to pay $20 a month anymore for this to make it up to Spotify, because that's too much work. We might upload this. I don't know. We can argue about it, actually. We're still mid-arguing exactly what platforms we're going away from. If I can get access to the Spotify account, because I don't have access to it, I never have. It was created by the unified platform that everything gets pushed out from. At some point, I'm going to close that $20 a month I pay, and we're going to be mostly off of YouTube and Twitch and 1 or 2 other sound platforms for people who want to easily download it. Like, I can't imagine not giving it to you on SoundCloud so that you can just, listen to it on your local recording if you really want a local recording. Gosh, what are my other motivations for doing this? Visual aids are nice. We can now bring stuff up on the screen and show it to you. We can demonstrate something in a song if we want to. When we talk about the song drop, if it's the main topic, we're going to do another streaming hardware episode, which is going to supersede the old one. And boy, it sure is nice to just like physically hold the thing in front of my camera, right? Like this microphone, which is the one I recommend now. I could just show it to you instead of it. It's going to make things a little more direct and interactive in ways I like. We can do this live now. There are JJK's right here. He's not here, even though he could be if he wanted to come visit. Like, he knows where I live. The benefits to me like way outweigh the costs. There is a little more work. We're decided to set it up today. It might stay that way if he wants to. He does like running OBS and he's really adept at it. So we'll figure out long term.
The way I have it set up with all of the different guests, I can have up to 5 guests. So I can just I'll slot them in, and it's my workflow is pretty well set now. It's pretty complicated to get set up to get everything to where it's the way I want it, to have everything individual and separate and all the guests in their little own audio tracks and everything. But Um, basically, I think it's set up. It'll just kind of work. But yeah, I think it's just really cool to have. It's basically like a Zoom, but it's integrated into Twitch, and it makes it so I have direct access to all of your webcams and audio without having to do like any capturing or worrying about latency or Discord things messing up, the audio quality of Discord being inconsistent. I don't know. Does everything sound okay? I tested it with my brother for a little while earlier. We got all the kinks, so nothing's echoing. I can play music and it won't have any problem. But yeah, I don't know.
We get feedback faster if something's messed up. There's always going to be somebody listening to this podcast live, so we can be interrupted if someone's audio is wrong now.
Oh yeah, so I'll say so we're using the Twitch guest star function. So anybody that has a Twitch account, I can just send them an invitation, and all they do is click on a link, and it opens up a browser window, and it gives me direct access to their webcam and microphone, and that's pretty much it. And I can move them into the stream and out of the stream, and they can stay in our little backstaging area that Twitch provides, and it's really, really slick. It's really nice. So basically, anyone we want that has access to a Chrome browser and has at least a microphone, doesn't even need a webcam. Obviously, Eesa is not using one. All they have to do is click a link, and basically that's it. Give me access to their microphone.
Yes, Cathaden, chime in. This is your fault. You're the first one to suggest anyone use this in the community. And now that I know how easy this is, future competitive content is coming out this way. This is so easy to just restream your own matches that this is gonna happen. When future nobar tournaments, if people can line up at the same time, or tournaments like the nobar tournament, because you can do any online tournament same way.
Yeah, did you guys ever say how that one ended?
Did we announce it? I thought we did. Well, I played I played a senpai song in the background to make it very obvious that senpai won, right? That was the point of that. Senpai dominated that tournament. I think some people took a few songs off of him throughout the tournament, but it was the expected outcome. It was him, and then Wiz, and then Lemming, and then and then it was some of your surprises. Ches actually took fourth, and then Jelly Slash. And then
Jelly Slash he was really enjoying playing the no bar stuff, and he kind of got into it. He got really into it.
Ches and Jelly both got really into it, and Lemming and Wiz already were. You just don't, because they mix that play in with their bar play on their accounts. You just don't see them as no bar players, but you find out through the course of the tournament, actually Wiz plays more no bar than he plays bar. So
yeah, and then Lemming, Richard, he had some injury with his hand, so he couldn't physically use the bar or his arm or something. So he's just been playing no bar. That's all he's been playing for the last couple months.
Oh yeah. So the competition was pretty intense. It was very humbling, especially going into, I applied for GDQ, and which we'll get back to later. As I'm one of the top no bar players at this game in the world. I've got some credentials. I don't just do a podcast and run tournaments here. I'm good at this game. And then to get blown out as sixth, who just entered this tournament, Kyle Ward's probably a little better at this game than me. He didn't enter.
He's really good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he plays Tell like crazy. If I played Tell as many times as he did, I could also 97 it. Let's see. McKeebler. I was expecting him to come right next to about where Lemming is, and he just didn't have the time. He was doing a lot of travel around the same time, I think, or maybe he just didn't want to put himself through the commitment. It was really good. I really liked it. I hope everyone comes back the next time I run one, or I really hope someone else runs it next time. But
anybody just start one. You don't have to use you don't have to use the start.gg. You can just organize it however you want. It's all remote.
On a piece of paper, whatever. I mean, assuming it's easy to administrate, once you start hitting past about 16 people, you do want something like start.gg or what's the other one that gets used a lot? I can't remember the name.
Challenge,
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Other things we get to do because of this. We get to announce the episodes in advance. You know, we have a scheduled time that we record. That means that's the scheduled time the episode goes out now. Just a little extra benefit to the people watching. It means the episode goes up way faster, way closer to the song drop. Granted, that didn't happen this month, but that's because we've been a few things have happened. Hey, this isn't a real serious episode. Let me talk about that. Eesa went on vacation for 2 weeks. I went on vacation for a week. I was in a big dour mood because I flew back and it was not a good time. Um, and just this month sucked, but in the future, we can probably bang these out within a day or two of the song drop. And then it's off our plates. And now this is a fun few hours a month, much more casual thing. And I mean, one sec. I need to express something a little more directly.
I have no idea what's coming up here.
The Almost Perfect cast got started with Zephyr getting high and just expounding randomly about things that were on her mind.
There we go.
You know, it all started with me just rambling about chart difficulties for 20 minutes. And that's what made it fun. And I realized that that energy was going away and I was having less fun with it. And so episodes were getting pushed back a month farther and farther into the month as I had other things coming into my life that were also giving me joy. And so this is the change that's making it all better, hopefully. And if it's not, hey, there's like 50 people who watch and listen to this who can tell us if we need to make further changes to make it better.
All right.
I'm done about that. Now, can we talk about how fun GDQ was?
Yeah, let's talk about GDQ.
It was amazing. I
Eesa,
loved
were
it.
you able to watch it all?
Yeah, I watched it all.
You could have been here if
Awesome.
you could have made the time for it.
I
You
should
could
have.
have been.
I know. I should have gone.
It
You
was
were-
so fun.
Yeah, it would have been so fun to have no disrespect to Zom because he's great and he's awesome and he's a wonderful
It's
commentator.
like
But
he's probably like the best commentator.
he is, but to have the two of you as my commentators would have been that extra special layer on it for me. If I had realized that, gosh, I know charity should be anonymous, but if I had known Ches was going to pay for plane tickets for Word and Zom, I would have just invited Eesa to like submit a quick I can do this video, and probably it would have been me, Bobby, and Eesa for the showcase, and Word and somebody else doing the actual. It would have been Word and Zom again.
But it was so impressive, and I loved the team charts especially. I clapped like in real life all by myself. I don't care. I clapped after that EMEA full combo. It was so amazing. And the disco really doing it.
Was
Oh
the
my
EMEA
gosh.
even the PB? I think they PB'd higher at my house at some point. We'll have to check. Yeah, it was. Yeah, they definitely PB'd higher. No, it was disco. They did.
I heard a lot of feedback from people saying they really liked how you had 3 people so you could rotate out, because the last time somebody did like a StepMania couple showcase, they were like dead. They were like almost physically passing out by the end because they didn't want to have like rest periods.
To make it fast. I've seen so many GDQs where there's a bunch of dead space while they're constantly catching their breath and talking because there aren't commentators. It's just like 2 people talking while they're catching their breath in between songs and an announcer during the play. And I said, that's not going to work for like putting on a presentation, because right, like I wanted to put on a giant gorgeous presentation of this game so that other people would be interested in our community. I don't know how effective that's being. I mean, we saw like a small uptick in people entering the Discord for a couple days, but it was like what, 12 people. So I don't think a ton of people were exposed to this game on a level where they're going to instantly become enthusiasts, but who knows, maybe more people are going to go play it at an arcade when they see it at a friend's house.
Hey, I got 1 Twitch follower from this, and it wasn't even my thing wasn't even on the screen, just my name.
My Twitch I got about 200 Twitch followers, and
nice.
I went from 0 to 2 viewers normally to now I have like 2 to 4 normally. So I'm pretty ecstatic about that. It's nice. Not like I'm suddenly internet famous or anything, but you know, like there's about 5 years now where any dance game event I go to, I'm going to get recognized walking into the building, right? That's exciting.
Yeah, and the cool thing I thought was like you organized this pretty much, but as far as GDQ knows, like all the viewers, it was you and Bobby and Ches were all kind of equally part of it because you didn't really talk that much. It was pretty much me and Zom talking, and you guys were just kind of playing. So it wasn't like here's Zephyr and then here's her showcase. It was just like here's the StepManiaX showcase with Zephyr, WDRM, and Ches, and
Yeah,
I think that was just really cool.
my name was only top billing because I put in first. But yes, as far as the work going into it, I mean, I'm not going to say that Bobby and Ches didn't put in work. They put in a ton of work.
They
We
practiced
put in
those team mode charts a lot.
Yeah, total practice in person was probably around 10 or 20 hours. And we had to change our sets a bunch of times because there was a lot of back and forth between us and Lightning. We were in his DMs constantly figuring out which songs would get copyrighted because little inside baseball, um, GDQ can't get money from the events like they used to. It used to be the way these events raised money, big charity marathons, uh, worked is they would raise everything in a big giant chunk of money, like all the money they collected, including like their revenue from YouTube and Twitch. And then that would just go in a big giant novelty check to Doctors Without Borders, to Prevent Cancer Foundation. And then Prevent Cancer Foundation and Doctors Without Borders would write a check back to run the event, to pay the expenses of the event. That way, the donated number look big, number go big. But that became a bit of a scandal because people said, "Oh, why is this charity writing them a check?" So now the compromise is GDQ funds itself based off of social media income. And so they need to eke by every little tiny bit that they can. So we had to painstakingly make sure every song we played. That's why you didn't get like Crab Rave and you didn't get like, oh, there were some bangers we had
Cartoon
to leave out.
heroes and
Yeah.
yeah.
Business Words is just a pleasure favorite of mine. Um, there were a dozen songs that couldn't make it in that we really wanted to.
Yeah, so it
But
seems like GDQ keeps the revenue from like people subscribing on Twitch and doing like the bits donation, the cheering, the Twitch specific things, and then the YouTube like ad revenue from the VODs, and Twitch doesn't really do ad revenue for that, but it seems like they keep that to like pay the people that work the event, that organize it and everything, and then the people that put in the donations that you see the big number go up on the screen, that donation is just the separate thing that goes to the partners.
yeah. Oh, and back to the work put in. Yeah, those two also. Setup on the day of was what, like we spent 6 hours at that arcade because funny thing, about 2 weeks before the showcase, my internet started bugging out, and about 2 days after the showcase, it stopped. Fun. But the day before, since one of the three of us showcasers, I guess five of us, if you six of us if you count the whole crew. Hey, let's talk about our crew to best in a minute. But Ches owns a music rhythm gaming arcade, so we just slept it on over there where we have our competition streaming equipment, and we set up for like 5 or 6 hours to replicate everything we had fine tuned over here. Because over here, me and my partner had been very the partner that keeps me from editing the podcast lately had been slowly and painstakingly dialing everything into just like perfect taste for GDQ. And by perfect taste, I don't mean perfect because they have a certain sound aesthetic that does not sound like a StepManiaX stream. If you noticed, it sounded like muddy and not as good. That is concessions for how the event wanted it and how they wanted stuff taken in and ran out. It was a giant. It was so much fun to set this up. Honestly, it was so complicated. There were so many moving parts, and Bobby and Ches did do a lot to help put that in. Uh, Bobby did a lot of interacting with Step Revolution. Uh, Ches had the arcade. They both practiced. Definitely, I probably did the lion's share of the input time. I wrote the proposal to GDQ. I put together all of the we put together a proposal video. I edited that together. Like I put the most into it, and this was my baby, but that's because it was my passion project and I was the one who wanted to start this, right? This was my responsibility to see through. And I'm so glad it went off the way it did. It was like a little phase of, it was a quarter of my year and it was super well spent. Um, but yeah, the other people that helped make it wonderful. You've heard of this guy Word? um, you were the first person. You were not the first person I asked um, to come. Actually, the first two people I asked to come were local because my thought was, hey, I could do this all with a local team. I asked JJK and I asked local good boy Ender, who was like a tiny little spot on the first Post Red October episode to see if they wanted to. And Ender said it's kind of out of his depth, and I agree. And JJK wasn't available for it, so it's like, okay, well, let's ask Zom and Word. Those are, well, I think Eesa was before Zom, and honestly, it turned out so well with Zom that I'm not mad you said no, Eesa. You were busy, and uh, and then Ches was like, well, you wanted local. Why don't we fly them here? How much would it cost?" And we looked into the cost, and it wasn't that much. So it just came here and stayed in my guest room for a couple of nights, and we had a blast. We had a couple good dance gamer nights. Um, let's see. So yeah, we're some commentators. You guys practiced with us. You got on call with us. You practiced together, and while we had practice streams through the choppy internet as we tried to make it work out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was pretty rough for those remote practice sessions. Me and Zom, we were like getting like slideshow, and the audio would kind of, we could mostly see what was going on, but I think especially Zom is so knowledgeable about all the different songs and stuff. Like he doesn't even need to really see what's going on. He just kind of knows what's going on. And that helped a lot with the practice. Yeah, his knowledge of the game is just it's so big. He knows so much about the game and all the like little Easter eggs and all the tiny little details of everything. So I basically during the event I was like, and I had a little issue where on the GDQ Discord thing where we could actually hear the event organizers during the run. I couldn't hear them at all. Something with my Discord app was just not working. Every time they moved me into the live room, I couldn't hear anything. So I was like, Zom, you gotta be like you gotta lead this, because whenever they would like read a donation or something out, I couldn't hear. So I didn't know when they were done reading or if they were gonna do more or whatever. So I was like, Zom, just like shush me up if I'm trying to accidentally talk over the donation or something, and then just when they're done with the donation, you just start the commentary again, and I'll just assume that we're good to go. So,
That was really good stage direction, though, because
yeah,
it meant that the couple times that I swooped in on the couch and interrupted, I knew when I couldn't talk because someone else was talking, and when I could, because since he had to communicate that to you, he was automatically communicating that to anyone else who's looking at him. Which, I mean, speaking of, hey, segue that sound. I sounded terrible a couple of those times. Why is that? Well, that's because we had someone live mixing the sound. That microphone already had to pick up your voice
for
and
my
Dom's
voice, which I
voice.
also had like a cold, so she was trying
Yeah,
her best, you know.
yeah. So our sound tech, who probably also spent a good 20 hours over the preceding month helping set up and get this whole thing going as well as it did, um, had to EQ the mic to accept both your voice and Zom's voice because it's one microphone, which is also doing like AI trickery to filter out all the music in the background. It's using an RTX video card, the AI tensor cores to algorithmically remove the sound of the background, because that was better than setting up a Blue Yeti in that moment. And in fact, that's probably going to be our standard going forward, unless we can find better hardware. We might try to find better hardware. I'm dating a sound nerd now, so we might just work out like better for the space equipment. Depends on how much that's a project that we do at the arcade and how many toys we get to buy. Um, and so that's gonna Anyway, so those two already had to share a mic. So anytime I swooped in there, like it was only picking up those lower tones that were meant to pick up only word, so that it wasn't picking up the arcade sounds or me talking further in the background or whatever else was going in. Someone was live, like unmuting and muting and leveling off the game sounds versus the speakers, and it was there was a lot. There was a lot to it. I've been
Yeah, I have
barely
to
scratching the
say,
surface.
when I rewatched it, once they put it up on YouTube and I rewatched it, the sound was really good. Like compared to some other runs in GDQ, which are sometimes just like, people trying their best to do what they can. I thought our runs, it sounded really good for
And Red October is going to sound so much better because it's not going to get restreamed, and it's gonna be all through our own control. It's going to be so amazing. Can't wait.
Yep.
Gosh, I'm exhausting the topic. Hey, chat, any questions? We can now know what's on your mind if we skipped any topics, if we just went a little way too fast over the most interesting thing. Maybe that's something that should be like codified into the episode is asking chat for questions.
Did we talk about edit mode on the last
Oh
episode at
yeah, hey,
all?
there's a new feature in the game. Changes the whole
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to bring that up. We're gonna do a whole episode on edit mode.
We even played the edit chart for the ITG chart for Utopia in the showcase to show off all the right arrows.
to show off. I don't know how that chart got made. Was that somebody did the thing where you boot up StepMania on your stages and then you just like set it to quantize to anything and you just tap it out? Is that what they did?
No. So the lore, this isn't really verified, but the lore that gets spread around is that I think it's Chris Foy wrote the chart, and the lore is that when he was listening to the music making the chart, his sound card,
like an audio barrage.
his sound card was like corrupted, so he was just stepping the song to what he was literally hearing through his speakers, but his sound card was just corrupting the audio. So he didn't know it was like broken. So he just heard this weird like rhythms and stuff, and he put that in the chart. That's the lore. No one really knows if that's true or if that was made up after the fact, just to kind of a hand wavy to say like, oh, my chart's not bad, I just had a bad audio card or something. But it's in StepManiaX now. If you open the app and you go through the edits and bookmark it, it'll show up when you log in and you can play it.
Well, the best edit in that showcase was the one that Bobby wrote for Chez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Max 428. Hey, that's something that I completely forgot to. I need this to be on.
Yeah, you guys
record.
did not practice that enough.
I need to bring this up. I need to explain this whole thing.
I played it on full yesterday because you guys told me to on GDQ. I finally passed again. I hadn't passed that many times, but I got a bad score.
No. So before you go into your spiel, I think I'm still the only person that's passed Max 428 full mode in a tournament. I think, because me and Groff played it, he failed, and I barely passed it.
Well,
I just wanted to put that out there.
It's gonna come up at Red October this year, so you're not gonna be the only one.
I gotta play it some more. I've still only passed it 6 times on full. I just don't play it. Why is it so much?
I think I passed it like twice, ever.
So
it's not fun.
Back when we first submitted this, there was the GDQ showcase. There was a deadline about 2 or 3 weeks later for submitting submissions, like the stretch goals, effectively, of the run. And
the donation incentives.
The big donation incentives. I had thought, okay, well, what's some big thing that hasn't been done? Edit mode didn't exist, so we couldn't be like dangle a bunch of edits in front of people. We couldn't, say show off a thing. So I had 2 ideas in mind. One was, we know Step Revolution. We're friends with them. We might be able to coordinate a song drop. They've dropped songs on tournaments before. There's a good chance we might be able to get them to drop a song on our machines at GDQ. And that was a maybe, and it was always a maybe, and it was communicated back and forth as a maybe, and it just ended up fizzling.
And then it turns out that wouldn't really have worked because we wouldn't have known if the song was going to be claimed, copy, content ID'd. So, like, looking back now, that wouldn't have been a very good idea, anyways. We would have had to figure that out beforehand.
They could have cut the video so that video just didn't get monetized. They could have cut the incentive as a separate VOD on YouTube for GDQ. That was the hash. We had that considered. But the bigger thing was we didn't get an official word, so I don't want to speculate too much. But I think it had to do with like timing was why they weren't able to drop it on us. And it was like it was a maybe until a couple weeks out, and then it was like a almost certainly not, and then it was like a no. But edit was coming along, so we're like, hey, this is actually more interesting to a layman than a song drop, because a song drop's interesting to the community, and we can make it exciting, and we can say something like, oh, hey, let's shower some money. You know, the song drop doesn't happen until someone showers, and well, you can only send money over the internet.
That's such an inside joke.
Yeah. But like you have to explain the inside joke or it's not funny to everyone else. But like you start doing that and then everyone will start talking about it, and it's a thing that would get people. Like people were saying sprayway like crazy apparently. So, and not just because that was the donation hashtag, people just picked up on sprayway being a meme in the community. But the other incentive, so I said, okay, what's something really hard that hasn't been done? Okay, nobody's passed max 428 no bar. And I was like, I'm going to train for it, train for it. I'm going to make an attempt at it. So I put that incentive down there, and it just sat there for a few weeks. And I'm like, okay, I've got a lot of things going in life. I was still recovering from my like vein surgery when this first went through. Like I wasn't even ready to start training for it yet. And then while that was happening, Wiz just went and passed it. And I was like, okay, well, the hype's gone. And and then edit mode became on the horizon. I knew that was coming because I'm in the external testing group. And I just also am apparently a games journalist now. So I knew like actually months before I was in the external testing group that edit mode was coming. So I knew like this thing can just slot in for max 428. We don't have to do max 428. It's not, I wrote them a thing. I was like, yeah, it's not that interesting of an incentive. It's not that impressive. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. So I wasn't bothering to practice it. I was like, you know what? So I had this idea, guys. It was like, here's a big, ugly, gross bug. I'm going to eat the bug. It's going to be really entertaining. But later I was like, oh, here's something way more interesting than eating the bug. 2 weeks before the event comes by, maybe 1 week before the event, and they're like, hey, we improved the max 428 no bar incentive. I haven't been training for that. I am not ready for it. You have to, like, you can get what, one attempt in at 428 no bar a session, and you're just done. You're physically exhausted.
Maybe train it on 0.9 or something. But yeah.
But like you have to learn to read it, and there's so much to it. I've maybe made 10 attempts ever on it, and you've got to make like, to pass it no bar, probably 20 or 30 attempts. Really, you should learn to play a bar and then no bar, but I'm dance disabled, and I never learned to play no bar or play bar. And anyway, so yeah, a week comes out and they said, actually, we would really like you to eat the bug. And I was like, guys, no, the bug's not that interesting. It's not going to be that great. And they're like, eat the bug. And I was okay, if it's for charity, I'll eat the bug. And then Chez and Bobby stepped up and ate the bug with me.
They're like,
yeah,
they're like, whatever.
Tried it.
Well,
Bobby was like, I'll play anything. I don't care.
I knew Bobby was going to do good on it because he is such a crossover wizard, and he did. He got close.
Yeah.
Cards on the table. GDQ is like a gamer atmosphere. A lot of the audience is hostile towards trans women, and me stumbling awkwardly across the stages by myself, I was afraid of looking really bad in that moment without having really practiced the hell out of it. And so like I was just in this panic mode. Now, by the time I got to the end of the showcase, I wasn't, because one, there's the benefit of Twitch being subscriber only mode on chat means talk to people, don't get to chat. So no one got to be a jerk to me about my body that entire time. It was, positive hype train, which made that showcase really easy. It was just breezy.
Yeah, the mods are always like really good on GDQ too, if anyone who is a subscriber says anything.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was a fantastic experience. I felt very protected. Chez had friends in town who were just sitting there next to me, like relaying positivity at me, like, because they could sense my tenseness. And by 10 minutes into that showcase, like those smiles on my face were not fake. I was having a blast that entire time. Like I couldn't stop smiling. I was having so much fun. Part of
Oh
it
yeah.
was the payoff, the big giant endorphin payoff to everything I'd been working on. I was also stoned out of my mind because I was so stressed before the event happened.
Yeah, having all those, well, not all, but there's like a good handful of people that were there in person spectating. And I think that helped a lot with just all of us having, not being so nervous, and they could give us feedback on. And then also kind of this a similar thing when GDQ broadcasted, they actually pipe in the live audience from the event. So when you rewatch the VOD, you get to hear like when the audience cheered and when they shout out stuff. I don't think they really shouted out too much. But yeah, it was really cool to watch it back and hear all the audience that was watching it live at GDQ up on the big screen. It was really cool to hear them like applaud and cheer and give us like congratulations and stuff. That was pretty
But
cool.
yeah, you guys did do really great. And I mean, the live chat on the Twitch was really excited for everything too, it seemed like. So they pull in a lot of, a little dance groove, rad jam, whatever, and spins.
Spins, yeah.
Those EMEA spins, those last two team songs were the highlight of that entire. That was just gore. I mean, we did some fun things, right? Like the first time I jokingly panicked and like started running around the stages at the start of Arcade Run. When we practiced, I realized like, oh, that's gotta be that's just gotta be a routine. Like I just
And
gotta.
the bunny.
Yeah, the bunny, grabbing the bunny was like a thing I did the day before at practice tonight. I'm like, well, this is going in, and that was completely unpracticed. Good times.
All right.
Hey, the show's over, right?
I think we're getting there. I don't think anyone had any questions. We'll actually announce the live stream for the next episode in advance, so that way if people want to be able to make sure they can watch, then that'll definitely
we were
be a
afraid this
thing.
was going to be a big technical cluster, and we might not actually put it out tonight, so we didn't want to announce it. But with how easy this went, this is it. This is new standard. Welcome to season 2. Again, Word has been talking me into like bifurcating this and like decrepitating some of the old episodes and redoing some of the content, which is something I've been wanting to do because
I just wanted to have a second season eventually, and I thought, after like a year, because we're like a little over a year since we started,
we're over a year and a half. We're a year and a half in.
I thought like, okay, for the end of season 1, we can do like a recap and we can spend like 5 minutes talking about all the previous episodes, and that would be a nice kind of recap episode, and then we'd start season 2. And then we just do that for every season after like 15 episodes or whatever. But this works out perfect. This is like a good start. We're changing how everything's going to be. It's not going to be an audio podcast anymore. It's going to be this. It's going to be more interaction with people that are viewing live. So yeah, I think it's perfect to start a new season.
All right, well, poor Eesa, you've barely been talking. Do you think you can outro the show?
Keep StepManiaX.
Good enough.